I honestly never thought that I'd be making a video like this, but I need to talk about something that I saw, an interview where Thomas DeLawler was interviewing Dr. Baker, and the video title was Everybody Shouldn't Do Carnivore. And I fully expected that it was some kind of clickbait, get us to click on the video. But the problem that I'm having right now, why I'm making this video, I think sometimes when we're making videos online, we don't stop and think about the fact that not everybody that we're talking to is actually in our community, first of all. And so therefore, when we have a title and then we say things in the video that could be linked to that title and say it as if what I'm saying is true. So, okay. I don't think that they meant to say something that's not true. So let me just be clear. I like these guys. Most of the information that I've ever got about, for example, carnivore diet, I learned from Dr. Baker. A lot of my understanding of how the body reacts to certain chemicals, I learned from Thomas DeLawler. So I like these guys. And I'm not trying to make a video tearing them down. This is not what this is about. I'm trying to make a video talking about how sometimes we say things because we're trying to be all inclusive, or we say things because we're trying to feed this idea that everybody's different without realizing that we're not that different. And my concern here is I try my best when I'm talking about how to eat healthy to talk about best practices with the understanding that not everybody is going to do the best practice. So I totally get it that if I say, everybody should eat healthy every single day, you're going to have a lot of people that say, yeah, I could try to eat healthy most of the time, but I'm just not going to try to do it every day. And that's the stance they have, and that's the position they will take, and that's the way they'll go through the world, and they won't eat healthy every day. But does it change the fact that eating healthy every day is what we should be doing? No. It's actually what we should be doing. And if you stop and think about it, when it comes to, for example, our pets, we understand that our pets should get their correct diet every single day. And most of us who have pets feed our pet their correct diet every single day. We don't take breaks from our pets eating the right thing because we know that that will cause them to have a bunch of health problems, which is not fun for the pet. And also our pets don't really look at food the way that we do until we train them to look at food the way that we do. And that's a whole other conversation. I don't want to run into that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. The video that I watched starts off with Thomas asking Dr. Baker if everybody needs to be carnivore, some kind of question like that. And the answer was no. And the answer to Dr. Baker gives is that if you're metabolically healthy, if you don't have any particular reason that you need to do carnivore, if you don't like meat, for example, if he gave some reasons that says if you don't like these things, then you don't need to be carnivore. And I want us to think first of all about our children that sometimes don't like things that they absolutely should do. I mean, the simple thing is take a bath. All right, have you ever had a kid that you have to fight them to get in the bath? So should we say, well, you don't like it, then they don't need to do it? Well, no, you're still going to put the kid in the bath. So that's my part one. But the other problem that I have is metabolically healthy. That word, how do we know if we're metabolically healthy? And a lot of people will say, well, if I'm at a healthy weight, I'm metabolically healthy. But we know that that's not reality. I can be at what is my current correct weight a bunch of different ways. Right? And so first of all, we know people that are at their current correct weight because of not eating healthy. We know people that are at their current correct weight, but they don't have enough musculature on their body, right? So you can be at your current correct weight so many ways and still not be in a healthy situation. How do I know if I'm metabolically healthy? And I feel like it was an error, in my opinion, my humble opinion, not a doctor, for Dr. Baker to say that people who are metabolically healthy, like, there's no need for them to do carnivore. And there's never a need. So this is the other piece of puzzle. Who should do carnivore? Probably the entire planet. If this is the right food that we should be eating, right? If that's what human bodies need. So let's talk about that for a second. Why would I now today say, what if this is the right diet that we should all be eating? For one simple reason, and only one reason, and it's the reason that makes the most sense to me. Our body makes all the carbohydrates that we need. We never need to eat a carbohydrate. Our body does not make all the proteins that we need. Our body does not make all the fats that we need, but it makes all the carbohydrates that we need. Therefore, in my humble opinion, we never need to eat a piece of veg. We absolutely need meat. So again, he wasn't saying that everybody shouldn't be eating meat. He didn't say that. He just said he doesn't believe that everybody needs to be carnivore. And and the funny thing is, I do agree with that statement. I do agree with that statement that not everybody needs to be carnivore. That's not the reason that I'm talking about this. I'm talking about it because the reasons that were given, like you don't like meat, or it doesn't really help people to understand why so many people have improved their health dramatically by doing carnivore for extended periods of time. And I say extended periods of time because I am also aware people are not always honest. Again, going back to what's best practice versus what people actually do. Some people say that they're keto, but when you ask them, do they track? They don't track. How do I actually know that I'm eating less than 20 grams of carbs a day? Now, some people have it down to a science and they eat the same thing every single day, like what I was doing, that I was guaranteed I'm eating keto numbers and my body was in a ketogenic state. But here's the thing, Wellness Warrior, and that's the most important part. You're not keto because you eat a certain type of food. You're keto because your body is in a ketogenic state. So we go back to the same way that I can't guarantee that I'm metabolically healthy unless I'm doing labs every week. I can't guarantee that I'm in a ketogenic state unless I'm occasionally verifying that I'm in a ketogenic state somehow, right? Now, there's lots of different ways to verify that you're in a ketogenic state, right? It's not just blood tests and urine tests and whatever. Like, there are also physiological things that happen to us that would let us know. But the point is, am I checking? I want us to have good quality information. And part of my concern right now is that this conversation that went back and forth between Thomas and Sean, one of the things I noticed is they kind of went on to other parts of the conversation, which helped me to understand that what we're really talking about is more the idea of what's reasonable to do. I don't think that when I come to YouTube and I'm going to call Sean an expert. He's a doctor. I'm going to call Thomas an expert because he worked in pharma and he talks about, how chemicals impact our body. I'm not looking for you to tell me what you think I'm going to do. I'm not looking for you to tell me what you think is going to be easy for me to do. I'm looking for you to tell me what's best practice. And it doesn't mean that when you tell me what's best practice, I'm going to agree with you. That's not the whole point. The point is, you tell me what's best practice. I'm going to look at what you say. I'm going to look at what other multiple doctors say. I'm going to put the information together and see what for me is tracking on agreed upon as best practice, because every keto person that I follow has a slightly different perspective on what's best practice. right? You have Dr. Berg talking about eating a bunch of vegetables and all the time. And then you have Dr. Baker saying, and by the way, carnivore is a subset of keto, which is a subset of low carb. So they're all aiming at the same thing, right? Well, low carb, no. But keto and carnivore are aiming partially at getting your body in that ketogenic state, and carnivore adds to it to decrease the amount of toxins coming in from plant foods. Like, that's my understanding of why someone would change from keto to carnivore. So now if you use that new, more, I guess, wide definition of why would somebody do this, all of a sudden not liking plants, all of a sudden not liking meat has nothing to do with it. If you are suffering from plants toxins harming your body, even if you don't like eating meat, you might still want to consider a carnivore diet, and maybe you're not going to eat meat, maybe you're going to eat fish, right? But does it change the fact that there are other things that you might want to do to make sure that you get your body in the best possible position? So there's so much here. The other thing that I want to say is that if you use my definition that carnivore is about decreasing the amount of plant toxins that are coming into your body and harming you, then young or old doesn't play a role there, because there are a lot of young people who have reactions to plants, and we're noticing that younger and younger and younger of our people are having reactions to plants. There's so many people who are struggling today because we are being told that plants are bringing things to our lives that they're not bringing. They're not in a positive way anyways. That we're being shown this fairy tale idea that what plants bring to us is all good, and it's not. So my frustration and why I'm even having this conversation with you today about this video that I watched a few days ago is because when people of influence, especially people that I respect, talk to the population at large, because that's what's happening in that kind of video, the people that are going to click on that are people that are not sure that keto is for them. Is there a reason, and carnivore, that carnivore is for them. Is there a reason that I should be scared of doing carnivore? My goodness. And especially Sean Baker saying that it's not for everybody, and they're going to click on that. And they're going to see this conversation where even the reason that's being given, in my opinion, again, humble, I'm not Dr. Baker, is more about people being afraid of something. It's more about people not knowing that they have a problem. It's more about people doing what they're used to. It's more about people doing what's easy, because if I don't like the way something tastes, it's going to be work for me to eat it, than doing what's healthier for me to do. And yes, by the end of the video, we were talking about the benefits of a carnivore lifestyle. But how many people make it to the end of the average YouTube video? Not a lot, Wellness Warrior. Often, we watch the first few minutes and then click off. I want us to give good information at the front, first of all. But second of all, it's scary to me, it's frustrating to me, it's unfortunate, in my opinion, that both of these very respected people in the keto and carnivore world are having a conversation about why some people shouldn't do keto or carnivore, rather than talking more about why most people should be doing it, first of all. But second of all, that all people should be eating for health rather than eating for what they're trained. So rather than eating for fun, because eating for taste is eating for fun. And why I don't want us doing that is that we've been trained on carbohydrate heavy foods because companies figured out that if they can get us when we're young eating those high carb foods, then when we're older and our mouth is trained on this, the healthier foods just don't taste as good. And so therefore, they can now put these high carb fun things in front of us, and we're going to eat them. And because we don't see the problem in that, we eat them, and our health is failing. Our health is suffering. And as young as not even teenagers are in wards at hospitals for things that 50 to 70 years ago we would not be seeing, and not at those numbers especially. So I really want us to just pause on this idea of talking about who shouldn't do keto or carnivore, because the truth is most people have no reason not to do it because it's the healthier way to eat. And I think we should be paying more attention to why most people should be doing it, because most people should be doing it. It's the healthier way to eat. I want to just make sure I reiterate that I'm a huge fan of Dr. Baker. I'm a huge fan of Thomas DeLawler. Got a lot of great information from both of them, but I feel like this chat that they had, it missed the mark in terms of the bigger picture, because there's too many people who are afraid to try keto or carnivore for us to be giving people excuses to not try something that could absolutely change their health in a positive way. And they don't have to try. That's the thing. You can't force somebody to try this. But if I'm curious, if I'm checking, if I'm wondering, is there any reason I shouldn't try this? And I'm seeing videos like this that are saying, maybe you shouldn't, like if you're metabolically healthy, there's no reason for you to do this. And I think I'm metabolically healthy, then I now think there's no reason for me to do this. And one of the cool things that I've noticed is that for the few people that I've spoken to, Kelly's one of them that I'll link to her video. She did keto from a place of being healthy and saw changes, saw benefits. And she didn't have any reason to do it except that she learned it was healthy to do. We need to make sure that we don't give the wrong message. Because if we give the wrong message, we're going to stop people from doing what's best for their health. So check out Kelly's video. I'm going to link it. I'll talk to you guys next week.